Welcome, and thank you for joining us for an MP Wired for HR webinar covering recruiting challenges in 2024 with real solutions. I'm Katie Kreider, Marketing Manager here at MP. And for those of you joining us on a webinar for the very first time, MP combines cutting-edge, user-friendly HCM software with proactive white glove customer support, recruitment process outsourcing, and HR services that keep business leaders abreast of the latest HR updates and compliance requirements. We did have a quick change of speaker, but I am thrilled to introduce your experts for today's webinar. First up is Payne Hansen. Payne is an account executive at MP Recruitment, bringing extensive expertise across diverse industries. He's from Tampa, Florida, and has a deep understanding of recruitment tools. His expertise in leveraging automated recruiting solutions enhances our clients' ability to attract the right talent. Payne aims to foster connections between clients and top-tier candidates, with a wealth of experience in job boards, career platforms, contingency, and retainer search firms. Payne joined MP Recruitment enticed by our unique products and solutions within the recruitment landscape. Next up are your recruiting gurus, Emily Flick, Kristen Klauser, and Melissa Murata. Emily has been in the recruiting and staffing industry for 6+ years. She has a bachelor's degree from the University of Cincinnati in organizational leadership and has worked in a variety of house, HR, and recruitment teams to help them identify the best talent for their team. Kristen is from the Chicagoland area and has been in the recruiting space for 18 years. She's worked positions from entry to executive level across multiple industries nationwide. She holds a bachelor's degree from Western Illinois University, where she studied communication and psychology. Melissa's passion and experience from the talent acquisition field is driven from her competitive nature and the pride she has, as well as the trust and genuine leadership relationships she's built along the way. Building a connection and true partnership with the leadership teams, HR partners, and as well as the hiring managers she works with is essential for success as a top recruiter. Her current role as a senior talent acquisition partner relies on her team and her to acquire and retain top talent for a variety of requisitions from professional roles, healthcare, behavioral health, sales, IT, engineering, HR, and everything in between. Finding strong talent for her clients that can be a true asset to their organization is key and something she strives for daily. Next up on our agenda, we will be addressing some key challenges surrounding recruiting in 2024 with Payne, and then we will jump into a panel discussion with our recruiting experts. First up, though, let's run a poll just to get us started here. The poll should pop up on your screen, and if you've ever used recruitment outsourcing in the past, just let us know how much, or if you've never used it, that's perfectly okay too. Amazing. And then just a few quick housekeeping issues before we get started here today. If you would like to submit a question during the program, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen. So now I'm going to turn the mic over to Payne for some more key challenges.
Katie, thank you so much for the introduction. I'm really excited to be hosting the webinar today. First and foremost, thank you all to the attendees on this meeting. We know your time is extremely valuable, so really just want to jump right into it. But during this presentation, our goal is to take a deep dive into 5 key topics that represent common pain points we regularly hear from our clients and explore how we effectively navigate these challenges on a daily basis. Those pain points are talent shortage, heavy competition, unfillable positions, lengthy hiring processes, and the headache of engaging with multiple agencies simultaneously. But first and foremost, I just wanted to discuss one of the hottest topics in recruitment, talent shortage. So what exactly is talent shortage, you may ask? Simply put, it's when there aren't enough skilled workers available to fill the open positions within an organization. This shortage is influenced by various factors, ranging from demographic shifts to technological advancements to economic fluctuations. And it's really a challenge faced by all industries, whether it's a Chipotle franchise or NASA. The struggle to find skilled workers is universal. So what are the solutions to the pressing issues? There are several avenues we can explore. Investment in education and training is crucial to developing the workforce of tomorrow. Talent attraction and retention initiatives can help organizations retain top talent. Supportive immigration policies, diversity and inclusion efforts, and really rethinking recruitment strategies are key and critical. One of the most important ones are offering competitive compensation and benefits, along with providing professional development opportunities, can really further aid in addressing these talent shortages across the board. Regarding some facts I wanted to mention, in the wake of the pandemic, job seekers are prioritizing flexibility, better work-life balance opportunity, and higher pay. In fact, more than 50% of employees plan to leave their job if they aren't provided flexibility. And when we shift gears to the manufacturing side, did you know that a shortage in the manufacturing world could hit the economy truly where it hurts? I'm talking a potential loss of 454 billion, and that is billion with a B, in economic output by 2028, which is a whopping 17% of the forecasted manufacturing GDP. It's a really big wake-up call for the manufacturing sector to get serious about tackling the shortage and keeping the economic engine running smoothly as well. And then when we turn our attention to the healthcare industry, by 2025, projections indicate a staggering deficit of over 400,000 home health aides and nearly 30,000 nurse practitioners. These figures undeniably underscore the critical demand for highly skilled healthcare professionals. And it's not just a statistic again, but again, it's a call for proactive measures in workforce planning and development within this space. On to the next pain point that we hear consistently is heavy competition. And I always like to tell our clients this: your competitors are reaching out to your employees daily. I will repeat that. Your competitors are reaching out to your employees daily. Your employees are highly sought after. I'm sure my employer is going to love hearing this while I'm on the call, but I get dozens of messages every single day from recruiters, and I'm not alone. Your employees are experiencing the exact same. It's a testament to their skills and expertise, but it also underscores the intense competition we face when it comes to attracting talent. One of the challenges that we face is the high demand for talent across various industries. There's a high lack of skilled or specialized workers, and the shortage really compels companies to have to fiercely compete to attract and retain those individuals. Globalization is also another major factor. With the rise of remote work, globalization, unfortunately, your competition just isn't local anymore. You're now competing with organizations worldwide for talent, which undeniably broadens our pool for potential candidates, but can also intensify the competition significantly. One of the biggest components that has changed is technological advancements. They have completely transformed the recruitment landscape. With tools and platforms readily available, companies can now reach a larger audience, potential candidates, but this accessibility means that more companies can tap into the same candidate pools, heightening the competition even further. And then there are some economic factors as well that play a significant role when it comes to heavy competition. During periods of growth, companies expand, leading to increased hiring. And naturally, this creates more competition for talent as businesses compete to secure the best candidates to support their growth initiatives. And on to part two, employer branding. So companies are really putting their best foot forward, showcasing competitive salaries, benefits, perks, but they're also fostering positive work cultures and building stellar reputations. This means candidates have more choices. Companies are having to compete in order to stand out. And then kind of on the technology advancements side of operations, thanks to platforms like LinkedIn, which is undeniably a phenomenal tool, the job market is more transparent than ever. Candidates can easily explore multiple opportunities and connect with companies directly. The heightened connectivity has upped the ante for employers who now must compete even more aggressively for talent. And then we have specialized skills. Now, some industries demand specialized skills or experience, which creates a shortage of qualified talent, intensifying the competition among companies competing to hire them. So in essence, heavy competition is a multifaceted challenge that organizations must navigate effectively throughout their talent acquisition efforts. The third pain point is unfillable positions. So unfillable positions can arise from a variety of factors: lack of qualified talent, highly specialized skill requirements, geographical limitations, unattractive compensation packages are just a few of the challenges that might arise. But I wanted to discuss strategies to address the challenges, but to ultimately help in finding those purple unicorns, as we like to say in recruitment, or those hard to find candidates. But these strategies include expanding candidate search criteria to tap into both active and passive talent pools. This means not simply posting a position and praying for a qualified applicant, but rather actively targeting passive job seekers, which are those individuals who are not actively applying to new roles, but may be open to a new opportunity if presented with the right one or get a tap on the shoulder. But additionally, offering competitive compensation and benefits, as well as providing training, development opportunities, can significantly enhance the attractiveness of a position to potential candidates. Lastly, organizations can leverage recruitment agencies or headhunters to help vet out candidates, enhance their employer branding and reputation. And some organizations have even considered reevaluating their stance on remote or flexible work arrangements to simply attract a wider talent pool. And on to the second part of unfillable positions. Some people always ask, why do these positions remain open for so long? Let's dive into some of the reasons. First, it's not uncommon to feel like you're searching for a needle in a haystack when you're trying to find the right candidate. Sometimes it's like you feel as if you've already hired 3 people in the entire world who can complete this job, and you're left searching for that elusive purple unicorn candidate. But job seekers tend to overlook positions that have been vacant for an extended period of time. In fact, after 30 days or more, these roles can become invisible to potential candidates. Even worse, some candidates may ghost employers whose internal hiring practices take too long, leaving them in the dark. But it's not just about the impact on hiring. Consider the strain on your current employees when there are unfillable positions. Who's left picking up the slack? Who's doing the work while the position remains unfilled? What's the toll on those who must shoulder extra responsibilities? Could this lead to burnout or even more vacancies down the line? And let's not forget about, on the flip side, about the toll that this takes on your talent acquisition and HR team, receiving constant pressure from hiring managers, which can create a stressful work environment, leading to potential turnover and burnout in your HR and TA departments. But I always like to tell our clients with these unfillable positions is that the longer it takes to fill a position, the more opportunities your competitors have to snag the best talent. So it's critical to implement an effective system and process and have that in place. The other pain point that we hear regularly from our clients is working with multiple agencies can be quite a headache, to say the least. It's like trying to juggle multiple balls in the air while riding a unicycle. It's challenging. But what I wanted to mention is what we've heard from our clients. First off, there's the coordination complexity. Imagine trying to herd cats. That's what it feels like sometimes when you're managing communication and coordination among multiple agencies. It's time-consuming, challenging, and quite often incredibly frustrating. Then there's the issue of diverse processes. Each agency has its own way of doing things, its own recruitment processes. This can lead to inconsistency, confusion in candidate selection, and not to mention the mixed messages being sent to potential candidates. Again, there's brand dilution as well. When you're working with multiple agencies, it can simply dilute your employer brand. Again, mixed messages and confusion among candidates can result, ultimately impacting your ability to attract top talent. There's also the matter of increased costs, which I know is a huge part. Engaging with agencies simultaneously can lead to higher recruitment costs due to duplicate efforts, fees, and it's essentially like paying for the same service twice. Nobody likes that. And then there's the difficulty of accountability. So holding multiple agencies accountable for results and performance metrics can be quite complex and challenging. And it's very, very important to know who internally at your organization is responsible for holding that agency accountable. And it's not always clear, is what we've seen in the market. Lastly, there is a lack of focus as well. Agencies may prioritize their own interests or candidates over those of the client. And this can lead to a lack of focus on fulfilling the client's specific hiring needs, which is, of course, the whole reason you were engaging with them in the first place. So on to the next slide, we wanted to mention some recommendations to help, because if you are engaging with agencies, multiple agencies, I should say, it's quite the balancing act. So first off, let's talk about agency consolidation. Instead of spreading yourself thin by working with multiple agencies, consider consolidating your recruitment efforts. Partnering with a single agency or a select few can really streamline those processes. And as I always like to say, it's like assembling a cohesive team rather than herding cats. Next up, engaging with a select few agencies. Quality over quantity. Choose a limited number of agencies that specialize in your industry or regularly target your candidate pool. This ensures a focused approach to recruitment, and it's having a squad of experts rather than having a crowd of amateurs. And let's not overlook the importance of clearly defined roles as well. Think of it like organizing a project in school. Each member has a specific role and responsibility to ensure the project runs smoothly, and clearly defining the roles and responsibility of each agency involved, if there are multiple, really helps to avoid overlap, confusion, or wasted efforts. So there you have it, our recommendations for navigating the challenge of working with multiple outside agencies by consolidating efforts, engaging with select agencies, and establishing clear role expectations. You can turn what was once more than likely a chaotic or daunting task into a smooth operation. But as we transition over to the panel portion of our session, I did want to emphasize that our goal with this panel is to provide you with firsthand insights from our recruitment team. So I wanted to introduce the team to Kristen, Melissa, and Emily, who are all members of our TA team here at MP. During this panelist group, I'll be asking them questions. It'll just be an open floor discussion and regarding their experiences, what they hear from their clients regularly. And this is just a very, very unique opportunity to gain direct insight into the challenges and trends our clients face in recruitment. And thrilled to be joined by them today. How are you all?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Thank you so much for joining the panel. As mentioned, it's just going to be an open floor discussion, so feel free to hop in or answer whenever. But I wanted to throw this question out to the floor. What challenges do we consistently hear from our clients?
I can take that one. Thanks, Payne, and good afternoon, everyone. Good morning for those on the West Coast. I would say that some of the most common pain points we hear from our clients is simply the difficulty in finding qualified candidates. So in today's candidate market, HR departments are just inundated with resumes due to the number of people out there looking for work or even just looking to change positions. So many of our clients post positions and then receive over 100 applications in a couple days' time, but then they get overwhelmed having to sift through them and then trying to find the best match. So clients often tell us that they're frequently swamped with applications and they still have a hard time finding that perfect candidate for their role. So this leads to a significant amount of time and resources spent reviewing resumes and pre-screening candidates, which could be better allocated elsewhere. I would also say that another challenge we hear is the length of the hiring process and declined candidate offers. A lot of clients aren't sure what is causing the decline in offers, but as Payne alluded to before, there's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of talent. Everyone's looking for the best. A lot of recruiters are hunting in the same spots. Some have, other sourcing methods, but from the initial search efforts to the candidate offer, the timeline can stretch far longer than anticipated. And then in some extreme cases, it can take even months to fill an open role. So it's just frustrating for HR and hiring managers, and they risk losing top candidates to competitors that seem to move or tend to move a little bit faster due to having more efficient hiring practices. We've also seen scenarios where clients have identified the perfect candidate, but due to lengthy internal approval processes or offer processes, the candidate does accept another job in the meantime before they're even able to get theirs out the door. And I would say engagement and retention are also two hot topics. They're challenging for some clients. Attracting talent is one thing, but then what are you doing to engage them and then retain them? The modern workforce values culture, growth opportunities, schedules that enable them to be both present and productive at work and at home. So some candidates, these values outweigh compensation. Our clients come to us and they need assistance telling their story, helping them sell their opportunity, why it's a great place to work. And so we can help promote those long-term career moves for candidates and help them understand, the long-term growth and plans for an organization. And we do embed ourselves with the HR and TA teams. So that is something that we have helped them accomplish a lot since the pandemic. A final challenge we often hear about is the complexities with diversity, equity, and inclusion in recruitment strategies. It's a growing challenge for some. Most organizations are committed to it. However, they have a difficulty launching effective and authentic strategies for doing so. So it's more than just filling quotas. It's about creating an environment where diverse talent is truly valued and integrated.
Thank you, Kristen, for the response. And I know that you had mentioned the pandemic. What would you say are a few post-pandemic impacts that you've seen on recruitment?
Sure. In the wake of the pandemic, we've witnessed several notable shifts in recruitment practices. Those mainly concerning remote, hybrid, and in-person work arrangements. One significant impact is the widespread adoption of remote work models. Many organizations embrace telecommuting options to accommodate health and safety concerns, but more recently to promote employee flexibility. This shift has necessitated adjustments in recruitment strategies to make sure that companies can attract and onboard talent. Many clients are now faced with truly assessing how important it is for a role to be remote, hybrid, or on-site. And in some cases, there are managers that are forced to, step outside their comfort zone to make accommodations for whether it's a remote or a hybrid schedule to get the talent that they need to do the role or perform the role. Employers must ensure the on-site positions create an engaging and collaborative team environment. Something that comes to mind is, I know shortly after the pandemic, when companies were requiring employees to go back on site and they had different rotating schedules, maybe many of us saw those memes out there that says, we're returning to the office because the culture is so important. The culture, and then there was an image of a bunch of empty cubes. So that probably has gotten a little better over the past couple of years, but there are still some organizations that are making them, employees come on site and not really having a whole lot of engagement there in the office. So many people really had to adjust their lifestyles and their finances in the wake of the pandemic. Some households went down to having one vehicle. Some had to make alternate daycare arrangements. So there's many different reasons that have swayed, what's important to candidates post-pandemic rather than what we were working with pre-pandemic. So there's a lot of obstacles in the way of landing top talent should employers require 100% on-site work. And of course, this isn't true for all industries. There's healthcare patient-facing positions where it's, critical they're on site to take care. But there's definitely a lot of industries that are trying to navigate these post-pandemic situations. And I would say a final thought is the emergence of hybrid work arrangements. Looking at remote and in-person work, it's a necessity anymore. So recruitment pushes companies to be more agile, adaptable, and then really work to understand what the evolving workforce preferences are and different organizational needs.
Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate that. And
Sure.
Again, I'm going to open the question to the floor. What would you all say are the best practices for finding top talent?
I'll take that one, Kane. I think in a perfect world, as talent acquisition partners or recruiters, we could just post a position and tons of strong, qualified top talent would just come pouring in. But in reality, this is, a very competitive landscape, and it really is just the opposite of that. Super, super competitive. I think it's also imperative that we come up with a strategic approach that, relies heavily on the specific needs of our clients. And that's truly where the partnership, comes in. And we really are an extension of our clients. So I feel, we will actively seek out both, active as well as passive candidates through our targeted sourcing efforts. And this means leveraging various channels such as, networking events or social media platforms, using our own professional networks and referrals, just from years and years of being in this industry. in addition to actively, getting creative for those really, really tough, hard to fill positions. I think passive talent in particular has, been a key area of success for us. In fact, 96% of the placements MP made last year were through passive hires. And, this means that these individuals, like you said, may not be actively seeking new opportunities, but could be open to the right opportunity if presented with one. So by focusing on, proactive, recruitment practices that prioritize relationship building, candidate engagement, and really providing value to potential hires, we can consistently attract top-notch candidates for our clients and their organizations.
Thank you, Melissa.
Sure.
And what is some advice for expediting internal interview processes that you hear from our clients?
That's a really great question. We do run into this quite often, so I think it's definitely one that's, very valuable to address. I think, when it comes to expediting, interview processes, communication is so essential. We often advise our clients to streamline their interview process by really clearly defining roles and responsibilities to all the parties that are involved, setting those realistic timelines and maintaining those open lines of communication through the process with both our clients as well as the candidates that we are working with. Essentially, we really are an extension of our client. And most times the clients, the candidates that we're working with, the way that the process works, they really think that we are the client because of the seamless processes that we put in place and that solid communication. Additionally, I think leveraging technology can significantly expedite the interview process. There's so many, there's just a variety of tools that we can use, such as, video interviewing platforms and applicant, tracking systems can really streamline scheduling and facilitate remote interviews and provide valuable insights into the candidate interactions that we have. I think furthermore, addressing any disconnects with clients often involves understanding their specific pain points and challenges by actively listening to their feedback and working collaboratively to identify areas for improvement. So we can ensure a smoother and a more efficient recruitment process for all parties involved.
Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate the response. One more, actually two more questions for you all. What would you say are the biggest hurdles that we face with our clients on a regular basis?
Take that. Hi, everyone. I'm Emily. I'm excited to be on this webinar today, and thank you, Payne, for inviting us. I think that really one of the biggest hurdles we face, and it kind of was mentioned from Melissa and Kristen here, but is just overall communication and providing that feedback. So understanding the importance of timely communication is huge within the recruitment process, and really obtaining those prompt responses. As a recruiter or a talent acquisition partner, I want to make sure that we provide the best and, best quality candidate that we possibly can. But if it's a no, understanding the why behind that. So really connecting as an extension of your team so that we can provide, a good candidate experience, but defining those roles are also key. So really from the get-go, understanding, okay, if I send you over a candidate, what happens next? And that should be really discussed from the beginning of that recruitment process, not after the candidate has already been submitted. So I think that's kind of really one of the biggest hurdles that I face, but I think that that's something that we can all improve on individually and within our teams. I think that also, another kind of common hurdle that we all probably face is just prolonged hiring processes. I think that we can recommend and really give advice to how many interviews with who and whether they should be virtual or on-site, depending on the job. But remember that most of our candidates, and even candidates that you're seeing today, they're not just interviewing with you, but they most likely have multiple other interviews lined up, even if you are the first choice or their first opportunity. But sometimes it can just come down to who can get the candidate and offer faster. So If you're thinking, well, we do not want to rush our interview process. We are not just looking to put a body in a seat. We want to find the right person. Really, what I recommend is just having less interview steps, but more time during each interview. So, as an example, instead of taking, a 4-step interview, maybe consider doing 2 steps, but then each of those interviews last longer for a more in-depth conversation with those candidates. So I think those would be kind of my top 2 hurdles that we face with our clients, but hopefully that helped answer, Payne.
No, you did a great job. I appreciate the response, Emily.
Sure.
And what are there strategies that can be implemented in the hiring process that aid in employee retention?
Absolutely. I think that almost retention, in my eyes, I've always said that retention starts in the beginning of the recruitment process. So whoever is doing that recruitment or having those really initial conversations or engagement with candidates should really understand and not just be screening for the qualifications of the candidate and are they a good fit for that particular position, but are they also a good fit from a culture standpoint? Do they understand the candidate's motivators and demotivators versus just, again, trying to put that body in a seat? Something that we do here at MP is we have what we call intake meetings with the hiring managers or the HR executives to understand not only the job description and the job requirements, but also to kind of do a deep dive or dig deep on the pros and the incentives that what makes your company different from a competing company. I think often hiring managers forget that, again, you're not only interviewing the candidate, but they're also interviewing you. So understanding the why behind a candidate accepting a job will really make it easier to aid in that employee retention later once they're on your team.
Amazing. Hey, thank you all for participating in the panel discussion. Hopefully it was extremely insightful for all the attendees. But just to kind of go into the next portion of the PowerPoint, I just wanted to provide a brief overview of what we do here at MP. Simply put, we solve organizations' recruitment issues. We're not a headhunter. We're not a contingency firm. Our goal is for our clients to spend less time worried about their open positions. How we are different than a traditional contingency firm is you get one dedicated talent acquisition partner that serves as an extension throughout your searches and is there to mirror your internal hiring process. If you were to engage with a traditional agency or headhunter, for lack of a better phrase, that organization is more than likely dealing with dozens of your competitors, targeting a vast candidate pool. And there seems to be a disconnect communication-wise, which is something that we hear consistently. On average, organizations that do engage with a traditional headhunter or contingency model are saving 40% within their first year. And again, our goals for our clients are simply to alleviate stress when it comes to finding the right talent, assist organizations in reaching their target job seekers and strategic hiring goals, and really serve as a recruitment consultant, meaning our clients have access to tenured experts within their space to assist them in navigating the challenges when it comes to finding the right talent for their teams. In terms of industries we work across, we partner with everything from startups to manufacturing, to nonprofits, to professional services, to healthcare, and everything in between. And at MP, I do want to highlight what type of roles we work on. We work solely on full-time direct hire positions from C-level down to your lowest level entry staff role. The only positions that we stay away from are contract positions and part-time roles. Full-time direct hire roles are our bread and butter. Now, when it comes to timelines, time to fill ranges, we understand the importance of efficiency and the urgency of some roles. And on average, we present candidates within 6 to 15 days and finalize those candidates or placements within 25 to 40 days. Of course, we always like to mention these timelines are highly dependent on the level of position and your organization's internal hiring process and the length of those interview processes. But again, we felt that it would be worth sharing our averages. I do always like to mention as well, we are not there to replace your team. We are simply there to be a resource to alleviate some of the manual processes that go into your day-to-day activities and giving you time back to do your job and not dealing with, for lack of a better phrase, the grunt work, the dealing with no-shows for interviews, coordinating and scheduling those interviews, vetting candidates, sifting through resumes, the whole 9 yards, which can be quite time consuming. We can be that resource and the extension of your team to really assist and alleviate those efforts. And I did want to mention as well where we find top talent. In today's market, it is all about passive talent, as Melissa mentioned, meaning those individuals who are not actively seeking a job but are open to new opportunities. Studies have shown that talent tends to be more qualified and have higher retention rates when it is passive talent. In fact, as Melissa mentioned, 96% of our placements at MP are sourced from passive talent, and those passive job seekers exhibit a 25% higher retention rate when compared to the active talent as well. For all the attendees on the webinar today, we've got something pretty exciting for you all. If you're interested at all in taking your business to the next level or learn how to improve your recruitment processes, then you are in luck. We are offering a free talent acquisition assessment. The assessment is designed to help you identify areas of improvement in your TA processes, which ultimately leading to better hiring outcomes. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Free assessment usually comes with no strings attached or with strings attached, right? Not the case here. Our talent acquisition assessment is completely no obligation so that you can make the decision that's right for you and your team. After the assessment, if by chance you decide to partner with us, we will make the first placement at a significantly discounted rate should you book through the QR code. In full transparency, these aren't offers that we typically extend, but we wanted to do it on the webinar today and extend it to all the attendees. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, simply scan the QR code on the screen, fill out the applicable information, and we'll be in touch to schedule your assessment. And if anyone has any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. And I will now be passing it over to Katie to close us out.
Thank you so much, Payne, Emily, Melissa, Kristen. We really appreciate you all and all your time. To learn more about MP Recruitment Solutions, you can visit our website at mp-hr.com for more information. Be sure to join us for our upcoming webinar next month on mental health toolkit for managers, practical strategies for employee support. Visit our website to register and see the full calendar of upcoming events and available resources. We will be sending out a recording of today's webinar along with the presentation slides this afternoon. Thanks for joining us and have a terrific day.